So I'm just going to go over how we can adjust portfolio pages. So just to refresh, we have everything under pages. Portfolio is clear because it has these 4 little squares. In the case of Willow, it's named portfolio. Yours might be named something different. But the main portfolio page is over here in the nav bar, and it has different sections. So this is the main page. We have a section up here with an image card. And then here we have different portfolios. So we can manage these here by, sorry, one second. We're going to go here to this little pen. And this is how we can change the layout. So right now we have hover is going to follow the cursor. We can choose to have the selection in front if we want. So lots of different things we can play with. We can also do hover fixed, which kind of shows it in one section there. We have just the grid simple with just the text under the bottom. We have hover background, which fills up the entire space. And then we have grid overlay. So this is going to be here. And then if we wanted to, we can adjust the spacing like this. So there you go. If you wanted to do grid overlay and then show it only after hover so that it looks nice and clean, you can do that. But just note, hover effects don't show up on mobile. So on mobile, if you click on it, it's going to take you right through. You won't actually see the hover text. So let's just discard these changes. So in order to create a new portfolio, so right now we have the 4 Westmount Mill, John Mill new project. Let's just delete that. Okay, so we have our 3 main portfolios as of right now. So if I wanted to create a new one, so I've designed your website for you, you have a couple portfolio pages. The easiest thing to do is just to find one that's like very similar. If they're not exactly the same, find one that's very similar to one that you like. You're going to come in here, go into settings, and then duplicate. What this will do is completely duplicate exactly what you had before. So this was the original mill race, and then now we have the mill race copy. So now what I can do is use this footprint so there's consistency across all of your portfolio pages if that's something that's important to you. So in this case, what I want to make sure that I'm doing is, first things first, we're going to go into settings. We're always going to update the image. So this thumbnail image is what's going to appear on your sections kind of back here on the main page. You're going to update the title to be the title of your project, and you're going to update the portfolio. So in this case, a new project. So put a dash in between your new words, and you want your words to be like keywords, but also pertinent to the actual project. So under SEO, just like other SEO, it will pull from your page, but let's say this is just a page of images. You really want to make sure that this is the new title, and this is your new description. So this is what's going to show up in Google. If you wanted a specific image for this particular portfolio, then you can add it here. Otherwise, it will just use your thumbnail. So those are the settings that you want to make sure you adjust. And then we're going to come into here and up to edit. And here's where we can make more changes. So in this particular case, we have a header here. Let's say we wanted to add something different and I wanted to just throw in a video here like that. Then I can do that. So that's there now. You can really play around with all the different sections. Portfolios are great because you really can add any type of section anywhere throughout the page. So it acts just like a regular Squarespace page, whereas blogs are a bit more restrictive. So in this case, we'd want to come in back here, get the background, delete the background, and then add a new image here. If you wanted inset, it would come in like this. Full bleed goes right to the edge. You can add an overlay opacity if you want to. So let's say we didn't do that. I could change the overlay opacity I can decide to do like a film grain effect. I can tilt so that it kind of has movement. You can zoom so it's going to move. So lots of really cool animation effects, which you can do with your website. I have the text up here. So you would just come in here. Anytime you wanted to add something, you're just going to find a little plus sign and then add your blocks. In this case, let's say it's text. We're going to, let's say, add some subtext here. So that's white for subtext. So in this case, to change that, you can either, an easy way is just clicking here and then doing that, or you can change it site wide, and that is done through your design settings, and then find your color theme for this particular one, which is darkest one, which is why it's showing a white text. So if I change this to lightest one, it's going to revert back to the text for the lightest one. But because I have kind of a darker overlay, I'd have to change this site wide if I wanted it to be site wide. Otherwise, I could just change it right here. So moving on, this is the little blurb. So again, you can just type, we have your heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. You can choose whatever you wanted to here. You can change the background colors here, like any of the colors that you wanted here. And then here's where you're going to add your images. So in this particular case, I have it set up as a masonry. I can make 3 columns. I can do like really small spacing. I can add captions if I had captions. Lightbox will allow you to click on it and then view it bigger. So if that's important to you, you'd want to activate the lightbox. You can also do strips if you wanted to do smaller ones. Simple is just, a pretty standard grid. Slideshow, you could do a slideshow like this. And then if you wanted to, you could do another gallery. And let's say here you wanted to do a masonry. But on this particular one, you only wanted to do, second. So I'm not sure why that's small right now. I might just have to add an image and play with the settings. But regardless, you can really change this up however you wanted to do it. So lots to play with there. It just depends on how you want your portfolios to go. So one thing to note is you can have a maximum of 40 portfolios within one portfolio section. And as soon as you duplicate a portfolio, it is live. You cannot disable a portfolio section. So once you start working on it, you need to complete it because it will be visible on your website. One way to get around that is to either, for the moment, drag it out of your navigation so it's harder to find. Or what you can do is come into the cog settings, disable the page while you're working on it, save, you'll see it go gray. And that means that people won't be able to find it on your website. But keep in mind, if someone finds it in Google, comes to your website to search for it, they're going to get an error page because it's not live. So just time when you're going to be working on these. And that's pretty much it. So that is your little tutorial for the portfolio sections.